Sir, you are not audible.
इस पे आ रही है।
You're audible now, Naman.
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's audible. Sorry. Very good afternoon to all. We'll start a series on corridor designing for roads and infrastructure, webinar series. So infrastructure is a very crucial for development, from transport systems to power generation facilities and water and sanitation networks. It provides services that enable our society to function as the economies thrive. So it's a very critical aspect, but along with that is sustainability, which is often, takes a back step while developing. So this puts infrastructure at the very heart of the efforts to meet the sustainable development, encompassing everything from health and education for all to access energy, clean water, and sanitation. With this background in our minds, we're coming up with this series and we'll start. So today's agenda will be, so we'll starting with the webinar, then company introduction will be done. Then we'll be having a session by Abid, solution specialist for civil 3D and BIM infrastructure. Then we'll having a corridor design, roads and infrastructure part will be covered by Abid. Followed by that, we'll have mobility simulation, which will be taken up by Tanmay Bhalarao from Autodesk, followed by question and answer session. WinZero. As a technology partner of choice for leading AEC and manufacturing companies globally, WinZero helps its customers to achieve technological and sustainability leadership through digitalization. Connectivity of processes and design ideas through digitization is the fastest way for us to achieve more and use less, with the concept of sustainability in mind. To build right from the start with the vision, we hope for a greener future. It's a collaboration between US CAD Line, Capricorn Technologies, and A2K. Capricorn Technologies, a WinZero company and partner of choice for AEC Industries, one of the biggest platinum partners of Autodesk and Bentley, along with an authorized training center. We have a dedicated team of 300 plus members working tirelessly for a clientage of over 20,000 in AEC and associated industries. We have numerous references from nation building organizations like DMRC, DDA, DLF, Reliance, KAC, L&T. We have associations with all of them, and we are working towards a greener and a brighter future. We have been recommended by the industry leaders like DMRC, Chennai Rail Corporation, Takenaka, etc. So coming over with that, we'll be starting with our first session. So I'd like to request Abid to come and start with the session. Abid, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Naman. We'll be sharing my screen. Yeah, before start of this session, I would like to have a small audience poll. I would like to start with a BIM infrastructure overview. I think we have some audience poll ready with us. I would like to publish Mr. Naman a question. Yeah, so we have two basic questions. We'll be waiting for 30-40 seconds for an input. What actually a BIM stands for, right? Like most of you are already aware of what BIM is. I would like you to participate. I have already received more than 40% of participation. So I request everyone to participate on the poll. I think someone is raising hand. Ma'am, we'll take a question. If you have any query, I request you to post it on our chat box. We'll be more than happy to answer you. I think few more people left with the participation. I would recommend everyone to um, have your vote. What actually BIM is? BIM stand for? Is it a building infrastructure model, or it's a intelligent model, or building information model? What actually it is? And what actually BIM is? It's a software, or it's a technology, it's a process, or it's a collection of data. It's all of the above. Okay, we have received almost 75% of the participants. Recommend everyone to quickly publish or quickly give your opinion what actually a BIM is. Okay, we are still receiving the poll. We'll wait for a few more seconds. It's 90% of the people has been participated so far. Okay, so I'll end the poll as of now. Uh, So if I share the results, most of the people says that BIM stands for building information model. I think 82% have gave the right answer. Remaining, I think 3% people have voted building intelligent model, and 15% of the people voted building infrastructure model. So whereas if I have one more question, what actually a BIM is? So most of the people published is it's a process, and some of you have voted as a technology, around 10% of the people, and around 15% of the people voted as a software. And I can see 6% of the people voted as a collection of data, and 47 of the people have voted as a all of the above. So let me start with the quick overview of the BIM, what actually a BIM is, right? Uh, if I say like, yeah, most of you have already voted as a correct answer. BIM stands for building information model, right? So to start with, further, most of you have voted as if like I have published a question, what is a BIM? So most of you have voted as it's a process. Some of you have voted as a collection of data, and some of you voted as a technology, and some of you have voted as a software, right? So if I brief you what actually BIM is combination of all. So it's a software, it's a technology, it's a information which we are using. Basically, building information modeling is a concept where we are collaborating on a platform, right? We are building entire information on a digital platform. And if I want to start with a brief introduction of BIM, I would like to showcase a small definition what actually a BIM is. It stands for US nation building information, refer or defines it as a digital representation of physical and functional characteristics of a facility, right? Most of the time, whenever I used to exchange the like I used to collaborate with the people, or I used to connect with the people, every like most of you the industry people will say building information modeling is only limited to building, but it's not only limited to building. Here we are not actually building a residential or commercial building, right? So here we are building the information model. So basically, in this definition also, it was stating that we are digitally representing a physical functional characteristics of a facility may be anything. It's maybe a building, or it's maybe an infrastructure project, or it's maybe a road, it's maybe a hydroelectric project, anything, right? So or else I can also say that facility may be a chair, facility may be um, um, a meeting room, right? Anything might be there, right? So it's not only limited to building. Initially, building information modeling has been given a name. Ideally, it should be a creating information model. We are actually creating an information. We are not building or any infrastructure project. Here I am talking about the building of information, right? Even in this particular picture also, you can see as per this particular definition, we are digitally constructing or simulating a building, which will help you to analyze, which will help you to resolve all the errors. So one of the major goal of the BIM is minimal errors and more optimized workflow, right? So here in this particular environment, from the start of the concept to the outcome basis, or to the execution or demolition phase, entire project team or entire design consultancy firms are in a same pitch, in a equal pitch. So from the start of the project, we are giving different types of inputs. Like, for example, I want to construct an infrastructure project. I might require a geometry, type of geometry that holds, right? Type of material I'm gonna use, what type of performance, like for what particular facility I'm constructing this building. Different types of information has been given, and using that particular information, we have created a digital representation of a project. You can imagine with any of the project, rather than a building, you can imagine with a infrastructure project, or maybe a road project, or maybe a hydroelectric project, right? We get the information from the different types of consultants firms, or different types of designers, or different types of design teams. Then we'll use entire information, will get the final outcome from there, right? We'll analyze the entire structure, and we'll get to know what sort of how much of material it gonna consume, how much of cost we are gonna spend, how much of time we are spending, different types of outcomes we will receive, right? So that's the major agenda of BIM. Apart from BIM, I would like to have one more definition. As I mentioned, BIM is a shared knowledge resource, right? Here we are not building the information, we're actually building, here we are not building any construction, or we are not simulating any construction. We're actually building the information, right? From the programming stage till the renovation and demolition stage, we are completely building the information. So let's suppose, from programming stage, like whenever I'm in idea generation stage, I'll get the information, and I'll do simulate, and I'll create a conceptual design. Right now I have conceptual design model. So when I go to detailed design, I require conceptual design of data. So in current industry, when you go to detailed design, let's suppose we have a conceptual design model ready with us, and when you go and ask your seniors maybe to share the information, they will share some old data. They may lose because they are collaborating using WhatsApps or Gmails, or maybe through any other platform. There is no standard cloud model from where we can I can exchange the information, right? So like if you are working in a BIM environment, you have a common cloud database, from where from concepts to demolition, renovation, or maybe operation and maintenance base will be on a samer pitch, will be on a connected pitch. So you can exchange the information from start to end. For example, if any point of time you want to extract the any particular information, you can extract that particular information by comparing different version drawings. So there is a version control was available in building information model. You can extract the older version drawings, you can compare the current version drawings and with the conceptual design versions, right? So that is something possible. That's how we are connected. Apart from that, I would like to brief you with the key concept of BIM. Why BIM? Like for what purpose we have to use BIM? Because BIM provides a single coordinator model. It will allow you to collaborate multiple design firms in a single source of database. Who can collaborate? Designers, engineers, contractors, or maybe some other official people, or maybe external consultant. Everyone can collaborate on a single coordinated model, because we have a like, how is that gonna possible? Because we have a single source of database, it will provide a single coordinated model. So now we have a single coordinated model. A designer can work on that particular project. A contractor can also work on that particular project, right? Because like whenever a project management team can also work on that particular project. If any point of time a project management team face any issue in the site, because we have a digital representation model ready with us, they can raise an issue to a designer. Now designer, by sitting in the offices, they can resolve that particular issue and publish the latest updated drawings to the site without having any zero paper, like as we are talking about the sustainability factors. Without having any paper, I can do work and collaborate on a cloud manner, right? So from where to it where, or I should say, when this building information modeling is going to help you, from concept design to operation and construction phase, we are on a samer pitch. Entire building information model will help you to achieve your organization goals, right? So apart from that, I have added couple of snap to brief you, like it's to showcase you it's not only limited to buildings. So we most of the organizations in India or maybe in the world are working on a road transportation project. We are using building information model. If I take an example of couple of products like InfraWorks, Civil 3D, those are the BIM oriented tools which will help you to achieve your BIM or objectives. Apart from that, this is something can also be used for rail corridor projects as well. And we have our water infrastructure project. I haven't added hydroelectric projects as well. BIM can also be utilized over there as well. If you are from the hydroelectric background, you can using Revit, Civil Civil 3D and the InfraWorks, you can construct an entire digital representation of entire hydroelectric project on your systems. Then you can finally publish your drawings to the field, right? That is also something possible. So I mean to say, BIM is not only limited to building. It's something can be used for any of the industry. BIM is some like if I want to brief you further, BIM is like a concept, a, a concept where multiple organization people can work on a common data environment, and they can represent a digital representation model and extract or fulfill their objectives, or BIM objectives, right? So I hope I have covered enough about the BIM. I'll I'll skip to the agenda of the session. So in this particular video demonstration, I'll switch to InfraWorks and I'll show you the basic road design workflow for preliminary level. Moreover, in this webinar, we'll be focusing more on preliminary design of road. Maybe in future or in upcoming sessions, we'll make our detailed road design workflow as well, right? So when I say preliminary design workflow, I required a conceptual level of information, a conceptual level of data, right? First of all, I need to capture my existing conditions to propose any project. If I want to brief you further, in current industry, in current workflow, whenever the designer or whenever a contractor or whenever any firm want to do a preliminary level of design, they must have idea in their minds, right? They want to represent that idea. Current scenario, most of the organizations are dependent on 2D base maps still, because they get the 2D base map, either they purchase from the external organizations, or they may take help from the Google Earth. They take help from, if I brief you, some of the organization firms are using Google Earth for their preliminary level of design. So they will mark alignment along the Google Earth. They'll extract that alignment into the 2D AutoCAD platforms, 2D CAD platforms, and they will work further, right? So to improve that workflow, InfraWorks is basically a conceptual oriented design tool. That is something I'm going to present in this particular demonstration or in this particular webinar series. InfraWorks is basically a conceptual oriented tools which will allow you to capture the entire existing site conditions by simply specifying your locations. I don't even need to go to site and get a preliminary survey data. By sitting in the office, by specifying a location, I can actually capture the existing terrain conditions, existing site conditions. I can simulate on my desktop. So although I have entire contour information in my system and I have a 3D model ready with me, I can directly work further. I can directly plan my design accurately. So in this particular picture on right hand side, you can see I have captured one particular site. It had its existing terrain data. So again, this data has been captured by the InfraWorks from US satellite server with the help of Autodesk have a direct integration with Microsoft Bing Map. They are capturing the data from the US satellite servers. You will get an entire 3D contour elevation data ready with you. Oh, on top of that, it was overlaying a Bing Map image. Apart from that, we'll also get some existing facility information like rivers or maybe roads, alignments. That information has been captured from the OpenStreetMap, right? Now we have contour data, we have existing facility data. I can simulate. Now designer can work in a 3D environment. He can relate the information better way, right? Because of due to data high level of resolution that we have, I can work more easier environment compared to that of 2D AutoCAD 2D AutoCAD drawing compared to that of 2D Google Earth images, right? I'll show you a live demonstration as well. We'll be talking more about the data capturing and stuff. Apart from that, whatever the information you have captured, you can extend that information to Civil 3D, and you can do further modification on top of terrain. Like for example, if I want to extract my contour map, or if I want to propose any of the propose any of the surface, that is something can be done with the help of Civil 3D. We'll show you in this video demonstration how to exchange InfraWorks data to Civil 3D as well. All right. So you can see in this particular videos, in this particular picture, we try to capture a area which actually holds the existing road, and we have proposed a tunnel or a railway tunnel, and I have proposed one more road tunnel for the future traffic, right? So within the InfraWorks, you can actually capture your existing road conditions, existing road and rail information, and you can propose your road and rail layouts as well. Then Once you're done with that, you can exchange complete information to Civil 3D for detailed assembly modeling. Or maybe if you want to extract quantities from Civil 3D, like quantity takeoff is something also possible in InfraWorks, but you can do more detail in Civil 3D, right? You can do, if you want to do some sort of documentation, like you want to extract the multiple cross sections, profile view, that is something can be done in Civil 3D in a very connected manner, or in very dynamic manner, right? So you can exchange the complete information. Once you are done with your complete model, you can exchange the complete information to Civil 3D as well. So without wasting much time, I would like to switch to live demonstration. I'll share my InfraWorks screen. uh, just allow me a moment. I'll share my screen again. Yeah, I hope it's visible. Yeah, I'll switch to InfraWorks. So this is the typical interface of InfraWorks. As I mentioned, InfraWorks is basically a conceptual oriented design software, right? So on top right corner, like I won't go with the interface overview. I'll just skip that part and I'll switch to model builder creation tool. So as I mentioned, by sitting in the office, user or designer can specify a location and he can capture the existing terrain condition. For an example, if I take if you want to travel somewhere from Delhi to somewhere else, you will specify a location, right? Same way, model builder allows you to search a location with the name of with the help of like by specifying name or by specifying the coordinates. For example, I want to search a Navi Mumbai location I want to capture. Currently I'm at Delhi, I want to capture the Navi Mumbai location. I can search that area. This is the area. Now I am in a road view, right? So I cannot able to imagine the area perfectly. So what I will do, I'll switch to a road view from the road view to aerial view. Now I can see the place names and stuff, right? So there are multiple ways to capture the area. Within InfraWorks, we have a model extend option, which will allow you to capture the entire area, whatever you're seeing in this particular display. For example, I want to capture the entire area, whatever I'm seeing. I can directly go and click on create model to capture the area. Otherwise, what I can do, I can draw a rectangle as well. For example, if I draw a rectangle, I can draw a rectangle. It will also show you the area which you have been selected. I'm trying to capture 20.65 square kilometer of area. So InfraWorks is very dynamic. It will try to simulate a complete information as well, right? Apart from that, we have other options to capture. We have a polygon. If you don't have any definite boundary, you can use this polygon option to capture any type of shape, right? Or else, if you have any defined shape already created in the form of .shp file, you can use import polygon option to import that particular information to InfraWorks. Like I mean to say that particular shape to InfraWorks, and it will automatically capture that particular shape. So there are multiple options to capture them. And one more thing I want to highlight: InfraWorks have a limitation to capture up in one go. We can only capture up to 200 square kilometers of area, because it 200 square kilometers of area holds a lot of information. Maybe Autodesk kept that limitation. It will take a lot of time to process. But although we can overcome that issue by capturing multiple pieces of area of data into a single file. What I will do, let's suppose I have 1000 square kilometers of area. I can capture pieces of 200 square kilometers of area and I can merge that entire data into a new file. That is something possible, right? Right now I have selected around 10.34 square kilometers of area. You can adjust if you want to do so. We can adjust more. For example, still I haven't get an option to create a model. For that part, I need to specify my model name. I'll specify Navi Mumbai is my location, so I'll specify that only, Navi Mumbai, right? I'll specify my description, which is something optional. If you want to define any description, you can do so, or else I'll switch to a coordinate system. So coordinate system plays a very important role because we are working in a BIM environment. Like it's more like a connected way. So if you exchange the information from one software to another platform, it should be placed exactly in a real world context. For example, actually I'm capturing the area from Navi Mumbai. If I extend complete information to for example a GIS platform like Isri, it should actually fit at that particular coordinate system, right? For that particular purpose, I need to define a proper coordinate system. For instance, I'll be selecting LL84. What actually LL84 is, just to brief the coordinate system further, I'll open my Google Earth. Google Earth also use the same coordinate system called UTM-WGS 1984. In entire India, I'll be more specific. In entire India, most of the organizations, around 90 to 95% of the people, are using LL84 only, until unless they have specific requirement. right? They are most of us referring UTM WGS 1984 coordinate system only. So over here you can see in Google Earth what actually UTM WGS 1984, as per that particular coordinate system, we have a standard meridian. According to that meridian, entire world has been divided into number of grid pieces. So vertical grid lines has been divided as a given as a numerical value, and the horizontal given as a alphabetical value, right? According to that, we have 41 strip, 42 strip, 43 strip, 44 strip, 45 strip, 46 strip, and the 47th strip. India is going to fall from 42 to 47th strip, right? So we are referring UTM WGS 1984, and I'm concerned with the zone which it was falling: 42, 43, 44, 45, or 46, right? So that is something I'm defining over there. So rather than using LL84, here LL84 stands for latitude, longitude, UTM WGS 1984 datum. You can see over here this LL84 uses WGS 84 datum. So if you want to target any other particular country standard coordinate system, you can click on none selected, and you can specify the coordinate system which you want to target. As I mentioned, we have different types of zones as well. In Google Earth, you can see Navi Mumbai is somewhere over here. It was falling under 43rd zone. UTM WGS 1984 43 zone I need to define actually, right? So that is something available over here as well. If you know the zone, you can define the zone as well. If you like myself, I don't have Google Earth, and I am not sure where it was actually falling. So I can specify LL84. When I specify LL84, it will target the UTM WGS 1984 coordinate system, and it will use the zone as 43 north, right? Zone is going to calculate automatically, I mean to say. I'll select LL84, I'll click OK. Now I'll click on create model. When I click on create model, a model is going to be prepared in a cloud. You will get an email notification when it has been processed. It will take around 3 to 4 minutes depending upon the project size, depending upon the model size. You can see like if I show you an email as well, whoever the user having a login of Autodesk, they will receive an email as well. Once your model has been processed, it says success, your model has been created and it is ready for use. This type of email you will get, uh, and your model is going to be pop up on top of InfoWorks screen, on recent screen, right? So just to start with, I'll open one of the project, one of the sample project which I have captured. I'll show you, like rather than a Navi Mumbai, I have also captured the Navi Mumbai site. But before that, I want to open a hilly kind of area which is located somewhere in Manipur, just to show you the capabilities of InfraWorks. I'll open that particular yeah. Now you can see I try to capture the area of Nagpur, uh, Manipur. Uh, Over here I have complete hilly information, right? Compared to that of Google Earth, I have a more a 3D based approach, right? I have, you can see the hills which has been captured, and the roads which has been captured from the open street maps, and the rivers, streets, different types of things, right? Like I can capture, I mean to say, I can capture and simulate the existing terrain conditions of that particular project location, right? So if I switch to conceptual to engineering view, if I switch to conceptual to engineering view, you can see the contour lines, right? I have many number of contour lines. If I zoom any of the region and if I hover over this, now you can see the contour numerical value as well: 800, 900, 1000, 1100. So when you are working in a 2D base maps, you won't get this much of information. You don't have this many number of contour information, this kind of 3D approach, right? So when I am in a preliminary state design, now I have complete information ready with me. I can work further. So this is the, like, this is more or like a hilly region area. There's no more population, so it does not have any building representation in it, right? If I switch to Navi Mumbai project again, I'll open Navi Mumbai area, which we have captured just before few seconds ago. I'll open that particular project site. It will take few seconds to open the model. It will try to render the area, and it will process and show you the model, right? Now you can see I have captured the Navi Mumbai area region. Okay, it was taking few seconds. Yeah, meanwhile, if you have any questions related to InfraWorks, I would recommend you to post it on a Q&A session, right? In a Q&A chat box. Yeah, I'll switch to engineering view to conceptual view again. Now you can see, like before switching, I want to show you, even we have captured near the Mumbai. I think India refers the MSL of Mumbai only. So we are getting that zero value and stuff, right? So if I zoom furthermore, now you can see over here, we have a hill, a numerical value of 100 is represented, right? So I'll switch to engineering view to conceptual view again. Now you can see in that particular area, we have different types of buildings. So the buildings also has been captured and simulated, right? So this is the DTM data which we get from OpenStreetMaps and the Bing Map with the help of Bing Map. Now I have multiple road information as well. If I zoom any one of the road, and if I hover over my mouse cursor on top of it, it states it's a Shankar Changu Kaha Thakur Marg road, right? I'll get the information from OpenStreetMap. Similarly, if I hover over on top of any of the other road, you can see over here as well. Uh, it's a Palam Beach Marg road, right? So you'll get that alignment information as well. When you exchange this entire data with Civil 3D, each alignment name is going to be assigned with the name of the road which we have, right? So basically these are the conceptual road which has been simulated or which has been constructed by the InfraWorks, right? So in InfraWorks, before start of preliminary design, in InfraWorks we can perform a kind of site analysis. I want to understand the site terrain conditions first of all, right? For that part, to do the site analysis within InfraWorks, we have surface analysis tools. When I go to terrain themes, I can perform a quick elevation analysis. I can perform a quick slope analysis. For example, if I go and perform a slope analysis, I'll switch to slope and I'll specify theme as slope analysis. You can divide the number of bands to understand this terrain conditions. I'll click OK. Now you can see most of the region is going to be falling under 0 to 15 meters, like 15 meters of elevation, right? So it's more like a flat kind of region we have. So here we have a hill region. So that does make sense. It had 15 to 30-meter elevational differences, right? So apart from that slope, I can also perform my elevation analysis. When I perform elevation analysis, you can see uh, 0 to negative 25 to negative 4.83 near this beach area. I have highlighted with the like lowland area, I should say. And from yellow region is somewhere around 4.8 to 34.67 meters. So that's how you can quickly perform different type of analysis, and you can simulate the conditions on top of InfraWorks. But I'll turn the analysis off. Now I'll switch to the preliminary design of road workflow. And ideally, it's not the workflow which I am doing, but although I want to deliver the concept. So let's suppose I want to plan a road from this particular alignment to somewhere here. I want to connect with the help of bridge. I'll do that. So also we can use like in creation tools, we have multiple tools to draw those things. So unlike Google Earth, we are using a polygon and we are using a polygon or polyline and we are drafting an alignment, right? Unlike that, what you can do, you can use a planning road option, which will allow you to capture or which will allow you to model a style based road, right? So you are actually planning an alignment, but we are actually using styles like parameters. Now you can see this is also a kind of planning road. We just need to uh, define the point. It will create a rule based workflow. So over here it was using a two lane with sidewalk workflow. That is for the finalization of your alignment only. Later you can convert that alignment road to a component road for detailed engineering analysis, right? Although I'm using my component road for now, I'll use my component road. And for example, I want to start from somewhere here, right? I'll go all the way here, and here I want to attach my a transition base curve. So I can attach that transition base curve. Now this time I want to move till here probably, or maybe here. Then from here to here I want to go, right? For this particular example, I'm using two lane, although you can go and change the assembly later as well, or else like if you want to work with any of the other assembly rather than a two lane assembly, if you want to go with a four lane assembly, you can go and select the four lane assembly as well. So I'll define till somewhere here I want to draft. So it was taking a time to get update the model. Now you can see a two lane assembly has been laid out, right? A two lane assembly has been drafted. You can see over there, right? Now what I can do, I can select any of the road component, and now I can control my super elevation values and stuff. Apart from that, I can add different types of arrangements as well. For example, I want to update my profile view of this particular assembly. What I can do, over here I have an option to check the profile view of this particular road. I can go to profile view and I'll use my fit to screen option. Now you can turn on active tracking as well. You can track cloudly. Now you can see the area, right? So you can actively track the area where you want to work on. Now you can see this is the elevation region I am working on. So I can zoom to nearest PVI point, and I can update the elevation values as well, where I want to update this particular region, right? So that is something you can further do, or else what you can exchange the information to Civil 3D over there also. Like I'm more familiar with like I'm more optimistic to use Civil 3D's profile creation tools, so I can exchange the entire information once my planning level has been done. I can exchange the information to Civil 3D. I can update and I can create my profile view over there. So it's up to you how you want to work on. Either of the way you can work on. As of now, I'll close this tool and I'll switch to engineering. Sorry, I'll switch to another view. I have created multiple themes as of now because of due to time constraints. I have already created a road with a bridge assigned to it. You can see I have created one particular bridge, a road with a bridge, right? So to add the bridge, we have an option to add a bridge. You can select that option and you can select a start station and station where you want to attach your bridge structure, right? So one more thing I want to show you in this webinar session. So whenever we are using a planning road or component road, wherever though we start, InfraWorks is smart enough and it will create the intersections automatically. We don't need to worry of creating intersection. That is something is gonna take care for you by the InfraWorks, right? Now I have a two-lane road created with me. uh, I'll zoom to one of this particular region. So now you can see one bridge structure has been added, but I want to update the structure of a pier orientation, right? For that part, what I will do, I'll go and select one of the pier which I want to update, and I'll select the pier, right? I can either use this drag and drop option or I can update the value as well. So as of now, I want to use my realistic approach. I'll drag this peer to somewhere here, right? Now two ways. I can either give a skew angle to control the assembly, or else what I can do, I can use this rotation option to update my angle of rotation of that particular substructure, right? Now you can see assembly has been created along the way, right? To here. So also apart from this, I can add different types of decorations to it. So if I select any of the road component, I can select one of the road component and I'll do a right click. So there is an option to add decorations, right? I'll use my place decoration option. Let's suppose I want to add my bridge barrier. I'll search my barriers, or I should search for bridge. Yeah, red railing I want to use, and I want to place all the way to here. I'll close this. Now you can see that assembly has been placed along the road. I'll zoom this out. Yeah, now you can see, right? So if I select any of the decoration in property palette, I can adjust the spacing as well. For instance, I want to have this particular barriers like along the 4 meters width. I'll update the value, right? So same way you can attach different types of assemblies, roads, different types of road components as well. So in order to insert a road component, there is an option to insert road component as well. You can go insert any of the road components if you want to do so, right? As of now, I want to plan for a two-lane road only, so I have attached a two-lane with a corridor, sorry, with a railing, right? So I'll switch to other theme. I have model and I have complete model. Because of due to time bound, I have already created the things. Now you can see this is the final output which I have created. I have a railing, I have a cut data, I have cut and I have side grading options as well, right? If I select any of the road view and if I do a right click, there is an option to check the cross section views as well. So I'll go to cross section views, right? Now you can see there are multiple like there are three dots. If I switch to very first dot, it will show you the cut fill along the cut fill data, how your cross section is simulating with respect to existing ground, right? If I switch to another view, it is more like uh, a super elevation kind of thing. According to super elevation, wherever though your super elevation was existing, accordingly that it will update, right? At the end, we have cut fill data along the cut area and along the cross section along the cut area, and like with reference to chain edge value, it will calculate and simulate your cut fill cross sections, proposed cross sections, right? So here we are in a cut. When I move to another chain edge, we are in a fill stage. So these are the different types of cross section which you can extract. Apart from that, within the infra works, you can even compute your preliminary level of quantities. For that part, I'll select any of the road component. When I select any of the road component, on bottom right corner, we have a cut fill option to compute quantity takeoff. It in an infra work, it's very easy to compute the volumes. So if when I click cut and fill data, it will actually compute the volume of cut fill data. Right. When I click this play symbol, now you can see it was computing the value. So there are two options. Either you can specify the chain edge, like where you want to extract the quantities, or else you can turn this off, and you can, if I want to extract the complete volume data, I can uh, define the chain edge range, right? When I click play this option, it has been computed the value data, and we need to perform 5253 cumex of cut, and I need to perform 31,003.353 metric cubes of fill. And net fill has been also calculated. Similarly, if you want this data in a CSV file format, what you can do, there is an option to extract report. You can extract a report as well. For an instant, I'll save this in here only. I'll save this. Right, I'll open that for you. If I open, yeah, this Excel file, now you can see with reference to chain edge, your cut data, your cut fill data, and fill data, fill area, cumulative cut data, cumulative fill data has been calculated and extracted in a form of CSV, right? Same way, you can even compute your materials as well. So there is an option to compute material. When I click this calculator symbol, it will compute the quantity of entire structure, including your superstructure which we have added. So we have added a bridge, right? So the bridge quantity has been computed. Now you can see the total superstructure required 15,068.920 cubic of precast concrete pouring, and we have this much of filling, right? So these are similar way. It also have computed your layer requirement quantities. Like we have 4385.804 meter length of road, and it requires 3157.779 cubics of volume, right? So it also counts the components. For example, if you have placed the street lights, it will also compute the number of street lights count as well. So as of now, I've placed the railings of 4 meter, 1.5 meter width, 1.5 meter width. It has computed the total number of count. So it required 938 number of railings. So if you want to generate a report, you can directly click over here. You can generate a report as well. So if I click save, it will also generate an Excel sheet of CSV data you can extract, right? I'll save this file. Click yes. So I'll go to desktop again. I'll search for that particular file just to show you. I'll open, yeah, road to quantities. Right, you can see the approximate data which has been calculated. So for preliminary level of analysis, you can use this information to further design, right? So later what you can do, once you're done with your preliminary design, for documentation part, we can exchange the complete information to Civil 3D. In order to share the information to Civil 3D, within InfraWorks, we have present share option on top right corner. I can either export this model as an IMX, or I can extract as a, like I can directly even open that InfraWorks model in Civil 3D as well. So as of now, for this particular demonstration, I'm using IMX file format. So I'll export that IMX file format. I'll use entire model option. Now you can see the coordinate zone. I have used LL84, but by default, the target coordinate system has been calculated by the InfraWorks itself, right? I am targeting UTM 84, and this area is going to be falling under 43 North. So now you can export an IMX file format, and that file format you can import in Civil 3D. I'll switch back to Civil 3D. Within Civil 3D, we have InfraWorks tab on top right corner. When I switch to InfraWorks tab, now I have an option to import CSV data, like InfraWorks data to Civil 3D. So like either of the way, I can open a model. I can click on open model. I can specify the InfraWorks model where it has been saved, or else if you remember, I just did tried to extract an IMX file format. that IMX format can also be imported to Civil 3D. You can click on import IMX. You can select that particular assembly which you want to IMX file which you want to import, right? I've imported IMX data in Civil 3D. Now you can see this is the different data which has been captured. Even I'll turn on the map location just to show you. If I turn the map aerial on, the background map image is going to be turned on. The same image which we are seeing in InfraWorks is going to be pop up on Civil 3D as well, right? So with the help of Civil 3D, what I did, I tried to create the profile view of the proposed roadway. Now you can see on top right corner, just allow me, yeah, the same image has been popped up, right? I'll turn the map off. Now on top right corner, we have a profile view created. You can do the documentation. I tried to do I tried to add different types of bands like vertical geometry, horizontal geometry, cut fill data of that particular area, and I did try to do hatching as well. This is the red line represent my existing ground and the blue line represent my finished ground level, right? According to that, I did my cut fill hatching as well. So this is the hatching which I have performed, right? So different types of documentation part is going to be done on Civil 3D only, right? You can exchange the information to Civil 3D, and you can attach different types of profile views and cross section view, and can, it's very easy to do the documentation in Civil 3D. So although we are not covering the documentation parts and stuff for this particular webinar, we'll may plan in future one more webinar series as well for the detailed design of design on Civil 3D, right? So apart from that, I would like to uh, focus on one more small topic. Okay, I'll switch to manage. Like here in this particular webinar, I want to focus one more small tool, like one of the good tool, I should say, Dynamo. Dynamo is basically a visual programming tool which will allow the user to automate the workflow, right? So with the help of Dynamo, I can automate the repetitive tasks. For an instant, I have model entire. Uh, I have an entire alignment. I want to place a traffic signals along the way. I'll click on Dynamo. I have created a small script to automate that particular task. I'll click on Dynamo to open the script area. So non-programmers like myself can build a logic in Dynamo and automate the repetitive tasks with the help of Dynamo. I'll open this particular script, signboard placement script, right? I have this particular Dynamo script ready with me. So here, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to capture the information from the Excel sheet which I have. I'll just show you as well. I think it's available somewhere here. Yeah, I'll just open that particular Excel sheet as well. Yeah, if I open this particular Excel sheet, I have my chain edges ready with me, and I have the type of signboard which I want to place, right? Same way you can imagine with the light poles you have, or maybe you can imagine with the other kind of blocks you want to place, right? So as of now, for this demonstration, I'll be using my signboard. Like I want to automate the task of signboard placement. So I have this CSV data ready with me. I'll go to Civil 3D again. I'll switch back to Civil 3D again. I'm the getting information from my Excel sheet. I'll be capturing my um, uh, 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 chain edge data, and I'm capturing my type of block which I want to place, right? I'm getting that information from Excel, and I'm getting the information of alignment data from the alignment, and I'm trying to get that information in Dynamo. Now I have my alignment data and I have my blocks which has been captured from Excel. I can place that. I can like I have created my sample script. I can even control my angle of rotation. I can even control my size of that particular block. If I run that particular script, now you can see that Excel sheet has been opened. And if I minimize this particular screen, and if I zoom to alignment, and you can see that a chain edge block has been placed automatically. Right. With the help of Dynamo, you can repeat it. You can automate the repetitive task as well. So for an instant, I'll go to Dynamo screen again. Rather than using Dynamo, I can also use my Dynamo script. I'll launch my Dynamo player as of now. to run the same script, right? I don't even need to go most of the time, like again and again. I don't even need to launch my Dynamo. I can even use my Dynamo player to run the same script. I can, if I open this input value, if I open my edit input option, I will get the same input information in Dynamo player as well, right? Now I can control the offset value. I can control my alignment value and the chainage value as well. For instance, I want to increase the block scale to 2, and I want to place a signboard to somewhere around 100 at 100-meter offset, right? When I did that, I have specified my value, and when I run this particular script, that signboard is going to be placed automatically, right? So okay, probably it has been run twice, because one time I have run with the Dynamo script, and another time I'm running with the Dynamo player. That makes sense. It will place again, right? So we have added the things, like if I want to increase my block scale value to 5, I can run it again. The size of the block is going to be increased automatically. So with the help of Dynamo, I can automate repetitive tasks which I have. I can then further exchange the information with InfraWorks for storyboard creation and stuff. I hope Tanmay, we have Tanmay with us. Tanmay will give you a brief insights on traffic simulation and mobility simulation further. Over to you, Tanmay.
Uh, all right. Thanks a lot, Abid. And thank you, everyone. We have so many attendees joining from different parts of India. I hope everyone is enjoying the session so far as much as we are enjoying delivering it. So take this further. Now, what we're going to share with you is one part of what a very crucial part of corridor design, right? Which is traffic studies and traffic simulations to understand the queue times that end up forming. But and let me just give me a minute to share my screen. And before we jump into the presentation for that, I know there are a few questions as well. Some of the questions that I think a couple of people are highlighting that the screen quality is not clear. I hope mine is. I just checked my internet connection. Everything is. I have a decent speed, so hopefully the screen quality should be really good. Besides that, there were a couple of questions on terrain data, the accuracy of it compared to ground surveys or BGPS surveys that are done, and we'll answer those at the end of the session. But as I've said, we do not, we take data from open source data sources, right? So we take Bing map imagery, or we take USGS data for the terrain. So in US, for example, in some parts of the world, the accuracy is up to 10 meters. That's the grid. Whereas in others, it's 30 meters. So it depends on where you're doing your particular project. But we'll leave some time for that, some time for Q&A session at the end of our presentation. And with that, let's just get started with traffic and mobility simulation. So what I'll do is I'll just give you a rough overview and show you quick videos, quick demos to cover the entire concept, show you the complete possibilities of what's possible through this platform, through this product, and then I'll jump into the product to show you live as well. So moving, why is the 1 second. For some reason, when I'm clicking next, the screen is not moving on to the next slide. Just give me 1 second. Let me stop sharing and share again. All right, I'm not sure why. Again, some technical glitches are always bound to happen, but that should not be an issue. What we'll do is I won't keep it in a slideshow mode, but I've ensured that the font size and everything is big enough for everybody to be able to still see it. So to start off, as Abid has wonderfully explained you the concept of conceptual and preliminary design, of how you move from getting the existing conditions, starting the modeling of a roadway alignment profile, as well as the corridor, any kind of city furniture that you need to design. There are other elements of it, of drainage design. But one of the most important aspects also is the traffic simulation. So within InfraWorks, we have two sort of main workflows, and both of them, and then there's a third one also, which is a combination of both. So the first one being traffic simulation. So whatever road network that you may have, whatever junction that you're trying to design, whatever highway that you're trying to design, you probably have the traffic studies being done by someone on site, or you may have the toll data or whatever data you may have access through the government agencies for the demand of that particular roadway, right? And we are designing maybe expansion or a new corridor for the expected demand for the next 10 years, 20 years, so on and so forth. So how do we account for whether whatever lanes or how much ever assemblies or whatever design we have for a corridor is sufficient enough, right? Whether the queue times of all our vehicles at every junction are okay, are acceptable, right? That is a thing that needs to be considered before designing any corridor. So we can run that simulation and generate a report of the entire trip time of a vehicle, of what's the queue time that is being formed at every particular lane or every particular approach road at a particular junction. We can assign signaling systems, and we can design those signaling systems of, we can make the groups of green, yellow, red, and what are the perfect timings for the signal to switch over to other, and how should the grouping of the traffic flow be done for those particular signals. For every single scenario, we are able to simulate and understand the impact, the real world impact of our design. The second one is mobility simulation, which is people simulation, right? So whatever, like at the end of the day, we are driving cars, or we are getting into a bus, but we are going to get out of the vehicle, we are going to get out of the train, or we are going to get out of the bus and go to the nearest another mode of transport, or the nearest facility, or even inside a facility. Let's say it's an airport, or if it's a bus station, a bus terminal, a railway station, or even a mall. We are able to simulate the people movement across the entire facility. So if you're familiar with Revit, if you create your building designs, you can bring those into InfraWorks and connect that directly to our entire infrastructure design of the roadway, railway, or the bus network. And we can do complete door-to-door simulation of when a person leaves a particular area, or let's say a mall, to get into a bus, to get into the nearest railway station, to finally get into a car and finally get back home. What's the trip time? What's the level of service of each of the different modes of transport? What is the most effective way of simulating or designing based on all the simulations or all the scenarios? That's the idea of why we want to kind of do these kind of simulations, or why they are beneficial. And then just to give you a quick glimpse of how it all looks like, I explained the first one being traffic simulation, the second one being people simulation, and then the third one being a combination of both, of people getting into cars or stations and all of that. This is live screen capture of InfraWorks. This is the simulation end result that you can expect to see from InfraWorks. So you can imagine such powerful visualizations can really help with design approvals as well. And that's the queue time. And we'll get into details about this. I'll show it live to you as well. So you can set a threshold beyond which the queue times turn red instead of being highlighted in blue. And then you can simulate the movement of people across a facility, across an airport, through different types of facilities, for you to understand the bottlenecks, understand the footfall, design the kiosks for the people's movement across that station. And not only that, but time it based on the schedule of the train that is anticipated, right? So therefore, this is the missing connection between as we think about smart cities, as we think about moving towards public transportation, the future of public transportation is that all different modes of public transportation can be synced to ensure no crowding or no bottlenecks in where people will end up gathering and creating delays or chaos at a particular facility. So that's the end goal of giving you the access to such a powerful simulation tool. And I will have to again exit out of the slideshow mode. Just a second. Yeah, there we go. And now again, another look at just the traffic simulation, because the focus of our webinar for today is traffic and is vehicles and is corridor design, correct? So let's say we are designing a junction and we have an anticipated demand. We've got it for the next 10 or 20-year demand of all the vehicles, all the different types of vehicles, right? It's not just a certain type of vehicle. There are algorithms with which you can quickly approximate the different types of vehicles based on those demands. So let's say if you have 20 vehicles going through a lane, maybe 7 of them are trucks and rest of them are cars, or some of them are rickshaws, whatever. Those vehicles can be entered. So the way it works is for every lane and every approach road, there's a lane, and then each lane is like a demand zone, right? So from each lane, you have to specify the demand or the traffic that is flowing to every other lane. That's what we call the demand matrix. And this is usually done, right? Today, all of this is done in Excel, right? Or maybe some other tool. But most of the people are not yet aware that this is available from within InfraWorks, right? Even such powerful analysis tools are available and very easy to use. That's the beauty of it. Just by entering that demand matrix, right? Typically, you would just do that in an Excel table. So just copy pasting that into InfraWorks, you're able to quickly generate a simulation like this. But the end goal of the simulation is not just a cool visualization, although the visualization also helps a lot for design approvals, for validating all the designs. The end goal is this, for you to understand the queue time. So now here you can see that there's an average delay of 72 seconds, right? A 46-meter long queue is getting formed. So you can set a threshold that I want to ensure the queue stays below a particular point. And now, as you saw the junction, when we change the junction into a roundabout, that particular intersection, we are suddenly able to change, and the queue time has dropped down substantially, and the color has also changed based on the threshold that we have specified. So that's the power, and that's the kind of things we wanted to showcase to you, to make you think about your projects and think about the designs for your corridors, whether they are sufficient for the next 10-20-year demand, because traffic is a huge problem in India, and more all the city planners are solving for this particular issue. Again, I have to exit my slideshow mode and move on to the next slide, which is a quick solution overview of how all of this happens, right? So you can, as I said before, the first 3, all of them is possible in InfraWorks. You can do people simulation, traffic simulation, multimodal simulation. And then if you want to further augment it for realistic visualizations, we also have something called 3ds Max, which also helps with it. Again. Okay, all right, escape has finally worked. And now what I'll do is I'll directly jump into InfraWorks to kind of, okay, so one of the questions from a person in the audience, I forget the name, was that in InfraWorks, when you go to Model Builder, as Abid was showing you, what is the maximum extent? I think the area that you can draw is up to 200 square kilometers, right? That's the extent of the area that you can take. The moment you exceed that, you can see it's turning red. Now, the question was whether we can bring in our own site boundary. Yes, you can import your geolocated polygon as well. And the other question was, if we take an area as big as 200 square kilometers, what's the file size going to be? So that's what I did actually. This South Bombay extraction is something I've done just now. And if we wanted to see that, we have to simply go to the InfraWorks models, and we'll get to that. But these are all the models that get created, and depending on how big their areas are, you're able to quickly understand their file sizes. So based on, one second, so it's only 158 megabytes for the 200 square kilometer area. It's a very light file, and that's what makes it so easy to browse, so easy to work in that particular model. So if I just go back to a particular model to quickly showcase mobility simulation as well. I know we have to leave some time for question and answers as well. So just bear with me for a moment. Yeah, so again, we're back to the InfraWorks environment. As Abid was explaining, here is where you can create all your infrastructure. Here is where you can manage all the different data sources, right? You can bring in all sorts of file formats into this particular base map or base 3D city model, if I can say that. And then finally, we have the Analyze tab, right? This is the most powerful tab that helps us validate all of our design. So a whole bunch of things that you can do here. You can run profile optimization. So let's say if I'm designing a road, you can optimize the entire design of that road, the profile of that road for the minimal cut and fill, right? You can optimize a corridor horizontal alignment as well from point A to point B to ensure it's the right of way is the lowest right of way. And similarly, we have traffic simulation, which is going to be our focus. So the moment I click on traffic simulation, you can see I already have a study area given here. But even if I were to just delete this traffic study area and start over all over again, what I simply have to do is I just have to go over to traffic simulation, and for whichever roads that I have the demand data of the traffic data that I have, or my new project that I am designing, I just sketch out that area. And you notice what's happening here. There's this blue box where whenever I'm crossing a road, it's automatically placing a demand zone at that area. So usually when someone tries to do this from scratch, they have to kind of model these links, all the roads and all the demand zones first before they can start entering all the data to run the simulation. But you can see that is automated for us. Now, here, just for those who do not want to just quickly learn something, this is the beauty of the software, where it's a simple point and click approach where you can understand and intuitively figure out and do complex simulations very quickly. So I can just say that, for now, I just want to see per lane, what are the queue times that are forming, and my delay threshold is, let's say, 15 seconds, right? Fine, that's all right with me. And then I say run simulation. So what this is running is it's taking default values for each of these demand zones. And I'll show that also in a minute once the simulation is complete. It by default, it has entered based on the size of the road or different parameters. It assigns certain demands of certain types of vehicles across all of these roads. So in this case, it's assigned a demand of just 6 vehicles every 10 minutes, something like that. 3 are going in and 3 are going out, right? So that's the kind of simulation that has now been completed in the background. So you can see the simulation is from 8 a.m. to 8:10 a.m. as the peak hour in the morning. And now I am going to play the simulation at a 30x speed. So the moment I do that, if I just go zoom in, you see, I just you saw me, right? It was just a matter of 5 or 6 clicks, and we've reached this level already. For if I hover over a demand zone, so this is zone 1, demand in is 10, demand out is 10. This is zone 3, demand in is 10, demand out is 10. So these are the default values. And then at each of these junctions, I can hover over any of these junctions and quickly understand, if I just play the simulation again, I can see what are the queue times that are forming, and I can export out a report. So this is just to get started. But now, if you want to take things to a next level, all you have to do, and if you want to add, your own demand data, you want to create your own demand matrix, what you have to do is you have to simply go over to the traffic analyst panel. This is, it'll give you some warning signs saying, this is advanced parameters. Are you sure you want to get into this? Because it opens up a new window. It's fairly gives you a whole host of options. And this is something that is used by people who do in-depth traffic studies as well. But there's no need to get scared or be overwhelmed by something like this, because it's fairly simple to understand. And today, just in the next few minutes, you'll get some idea of how to get started. So I'll just keep this to the left, and then there will be another window that I'll keep to the right. So you can see this area, the links and the nodes or the junctions have already been created for us. These squares are the demand zones, and we are in quick simulation. Now this quick simulation is running based on what? The parameters that we've specified, the control of the junctions that we've specified, the demands that we've just specified, the demand matrix of how many vehicles go from this lane to that lane, and the total number of trips that get generated for each vehicle. So these are the parameters that make up this simulation. Right now, we will only look at one of the parameters, which is the demand. As you can see, you can set different demand parameters, and then you can just quickly change it, and you can run a different simulation. So this is how easy it gets to, within a matter of few minutes, once you've set everything up, simulate your designs across all of these scenarios for short morning routines, long morning peak hours, or whatever it may be. So now, for all of this, you can see the same kind of tabs over here. You have parameters, control, demand, and the demand is what generates the trips. So in demand, I will go to the demands here, and you can see this is the matrix. You see all of them are 10. These are the default values that InfraWorks takes for each of the lanes. Now what we can do is, let's say somebody has given us access to the latest data for that region. Now we have access to the different types of vehicles, and we want to enter that data. We create a new matrix, and whenever I click on any of these lanes, let me just show it to you. Yeah. So in matrix 1, when I'm clicking on zone 1, you can see this is our zone 1, and zone 1, going to zone 1 is 0, of course, because the car can't just go to the zone that it came from. So zone 1 will go to 2, 3, 4, and 5. So each of these, as I click it, this is 2, going to zone 3, going to zone 4, going to zone 5. Each of these you can customize to your needs if you have that data, or you can simply enter a value, something like, and it will split it across all of the lanes, all the zones, and create a matrix for you proportionately. So let's say I create this, and now that's my new demand zone, and I just close out of it. Then I can run another simulation, and again, everything else is the same. The delay threshold is again only 15 seconds, and I run the simulation. So it will again take just a few minutes to quickly run it. All right. So there you go. The simulation is run. All the results that you create are always available here. And you can just click on any of these to generate a report out of it. And the report will get saved, and then you'll get access to all of these Excel sheets for every single trip. If there are cyclists, vehicles, public transportation, what's the level of service, all the detailed reports are generated for you, which are typically required. But now in this case, if we just run the simulation again, what we can see is, this based on the new matrix or the new demand profile that we've added, this is the new kind of queue times that are getting formed. And I can immediately see that this lane is probably going to lead to a lot of traffic jams, and therefore I need to control these particular junctions with either signaling systems or change of the intersection design, whatever it may be. So that's just a quick way for this webinar. We wanted to showcase the depth of traffic simulation that's possible within InfraWorks, and give you more things to think about as you think about your next project. And we would love to see you try this out and reach back out to us if you want to capture any particular nuances of your project. We'd be happy to help you with it. So with that, for now, I will close off my presentation, and we leave some time to answer some of the questions that there may be.
Yes, Tanmay, thank you. I think we have a couple of questions in chat box. There is a specific question related to mobility simulation. Mr. Nilesh ji is asking, does this model also includes features such as driving behavior? What are the models included in the model? In Indian scenario, we have mixed level of traffic. Are these also included in this model? Do you want to answer this, Tanmay?
Yes. So for such kind of things, we have to specify some rules of thumbs and tweak the demand matrix accordingly. Because in Indian scenarios, typically what we observe is, in the developed parts of the world, the lane discipline is followed, and maybe in some corners of India, the lane discipline is followed. But generally in India, what ends up happening is wherever there is space, you will find a vehicle, right? So the demand has to be changed, and a rule of thumb has to be applied. We'd love to work with you on your project if you're trying that simulation out. But yeah, that is a kind of limitation right now, but we are working towards it with several workarounds.
Yes, Tanmay, thank you. There's one more question. So I think it has been answered regarding terrain data. What will be the file size and format and quality? So for the file size and format, sir, it's completely depend upon the type of area you are working. For an instance, you are working with a hilly kind of terrain region. If over there, probably the information is very less. Like the only information you are capturing is contour data, then the file size is going to be less. As Tanmay shown, he's tried to capture the area of one of the populated area, like one of the urban region. It was somewhere around 200 meters, and he was trying to capture somewhere around 200 square kilometer of area. So it's completely depending upon type of features which are available in that particular region, the type of information we have. It's somewhere around 200 to 250 MB mostly. And if you are going more than 200 square kilometers of area, you can capture into multiple pieces, and you can merge the complete information into a single drawing file or single InfraWorks file, I mean to say. And there are one more question, Tanmay, for you. Is mobility simulation helpful in visual representation and improved cross section only, or can we improve the blind corners as well?
Blind corners, I did not get that.
Like accident zones, I think he mean to say.
So for that, we do have side distance analysis, if that is what is the question. We just as I was, let me just share my screen once again. As I was saying, one of the most powerful features of InfraWorks is the Analyze tab. And with every release, we keep putting in more and more powerful analysis tools within InfraWorks. So one of the ones is side distance analysis. So this analyzes for the design side distance for that particular road. And now we are also looking at taking into account the IRC standards and building a India country kit for this year's InfraWorks release. So you'll start seeing that coming along as well. But traffic simulation does not take that into account. Traffic simulation is purely based on what happens by design. If that's the demand of the vehicles on the road, if that's the demand of people crossing that road, so then it will just run that simulation. It does not take into account any and just shows you the result of that particular demand. It will not probably be able to identify and you can get a sense, right? Wherever there's a queue time forming, queue time beyond your threshold, anyways, it's a pain point, and it could lead to several traffic jams, and therefore lead to several other problems as well. But accidents, um, vehicles just not following the signals, those kind of things are not simulated.
Okay. I think there's one more question. The open source data taken from Microsoft Bing will be a little used as ultimate in practice. We'll have to correlate our ground server data via the reduced levels of services as available from municipal in order to design our colony roads and all infrastructure works. So for that part, sir, if you have available your ground survey data, what you can do, you can build a terrain surface, a tin surface in Civil 3D, and you can bring that tin surface to InfraWorks for the visualization and analysis part. So that is something possible from other way around.
Right.
So there's one more question. As you showed the simulation on existing road map, can we change the junction with the existing road?
Yes, so everything is changeable, right? At the end of the day, I can just share my screen once again and quickly answer that through an example. So whenever you create this is the base map or the base 3D model that gets created for you. So what you're seeing is Thane city. That's where I'm from. So I've just created all these based on the raster imagery and the terrain data. You have these elevations and randomized building placements based on the raster imagery. So the algorithm kind of generates this. Of course, it's not going to be 100% accurate because the imagery is relatively old, right? New construction, new buildings, new roads keep forming. So all of these existing roads that you're seeing are what we call, there are two types of roads that we have. We have our normal roads, and then we have our design roads, which are called component roads. So the moment you convert this kind of the default road, planning road, to a component road or the design road, then we can make changes and design that, and let me just give you an example. So now let's say this is a planning road and I just changed it to a design road. Now I'm able to, if I design a junction here, you see the entire profile, you can see the entire alignment, the horizontal and the profile and the points of curvatures are now visible. That's the difference between the planning road and the design road. And if I want to add another road at this junction, I can certainly do that if that was the question. If the question was something else, I would love for you to just write a follow-up, but it wasn't quite clear. So let's say I'm putting another road between these two, and maybe I just don't know, it's just extended beyond or something. It will automatically place the junction at that particular road. So now what has happened here is the elevation of these two roads is probably not matching. Therefore, it's not created that junction. So there you go. So it will automatically place the junction. The design of this road is in conjunction with this. And now whenever we run a simulation, it will automatically, the demand zone from here will automatically take into account the vehicles moving on this side or taking a left turn over to this side. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. There's one more question, Tanmay, for you. The existing road design, will it also be captured and reflected like road humps of drains, etc., as it is a major impact for traffic?
Uh,
Yeah.
no, right now this is not taken into account.
Yes, actually, what I can relate, with the help of InfraWorks, we can capture the road alignment by depending upon the raster imagery. It will trying to place a road, but it was not taking the actual design conditions over there.
Correct. So the thing is, it takes into account the speed of the vehicles,
Yes.
right? So if you know that this particular road has a lot of bumps along the road, you can change the design speed of that particular road, and the vehicles will move at a lower speed, and then you can still be able to simulate the real world conditions.
Yeah. One more question. Can it incorporate the psychological process that if there is a traffic on one road, people starts moving to alternative route?
Uh, yeah, so that's the thing. You have to design that. So
Yeah.
in your demand matrix, when you say vehicles are moving from one demand zone to another, you have to anticipate that, if a queue is forming at a particular junction, cars are going to move into another one. So therefore you have to update that demand matrix accordingly. I think the next one is on Google Maps,
Yeah.
getting updated in InfraWorks. So that is also very quickly possible. You can capture the Google Earth imagery and update. You can choose to capture the Google Earth imagery, send it to InfraWorks, and choose to turn off the Bing Map imagery. That way, you will be working off of only the Google Map imagery as well. The next one is, can you highlight something on LOD? Do BIM enabled projects save cost? If yes, what percent of total project cost is saved? So this question, it's kind of conceptual. There are several studies. Actually, Autodesk, we have ourselves sponsored several such studies and done estimates of tentative project costs. It's anywhere from 30% to 70% even in some cases. So depending on the type of project, depending on the type of scope of the project, it varies a lot. But yes, there are some substantial cost savings. Next one is from Civil 3D to InfraWorks. It does not pick up the site layout. It's all very hazy. Uh, we would love to work with you on that one, Harish. I think
Yeah, since
I,
2018 release of
I
InfraWorks, I have seen the workflow has been improved a lot. So if
right,
you have
right.
any specific issue, I think we would love to work with you.
Yeah, I don't think that's a challenge at all. So maybe
Yes.
it's for your specific site, maybe the workflow needs to be tweaked a little. And on what I was talking about earlier, you mentioned that the road was dragged arbitrarily on InfraWorks, but can we draw it using CSV geocoordinates? Of course you can. I was just demonstrating it quickly to highlight a different point. We can, based on the alignment, the exact geolocated alignment, the coordinates of the alignment, we can simply import that into InfraWorks as well. And
There's
yes, this
one.
model can be exported to 3ds Max as well. Uh, yeah, Tushar has a couple of questions, whether the junction is like straight, red light, or roundabout, not the road widening. You can have all three options, Tushar, based on how you design it. You can have a roundabout, you can place a road widening also, and you can of course have a the signaling system can be grouped to take into account all of those nuances as well. And the other question you had is live traffic from Google. There's no way to directly add like a live stream of data into InfraWorks. That currently has to be done as if you're entering data into an Excel, just like that.
Yeah, there's one more question related to vehicle simulation tool. Yeah, it's a inbuilt tool available in InfraWorks. For
Correct.
that, I think you need to install a Visual Studio thing. That is something InfraWorks also redirect you automatically to do the installations.
So you don't. It's all free. It's all available within InfraWorks. There's nothing else needed. It's just a Java runtime not a plugin, but a Java runtime installation needs to be done in your system, and that's available for free.
Yes. I hope this yeah, we'll be uploading on our YouTube channel, Capricorn Technologies Private Limited. Also, if you require a specific recording, we'll be happy to share with you as well.
Wow, 25 questions. That's a good participation. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation. We hope everyone enjoyed it as much as we loved delivering it. Naman, over to you.
Thank you so much, May. Thank you, Abid. It was such an insightful session, such a lovely audience. Very interactive one, I'll say. So with that, we'll come to the closure. So with smart infrastructure, we are shaping an ecosystem that connects the real world with the digital world. We're making decisions based on data and analytics, empowering us to make their energy systems and processes much more efficient and contributing towards sustainability. So together we can transform the everyday for a better tomorrow. With that, we'll close this session and we'd like to invite you all for tomorrow's session on sustainable infrastructure. Do join that. That's scheduled from same time and do register for that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye.
all. Thank you, Tanmay. Bye.